But we're going to welcome up our live panel team right now. Can we give them a hand as this video plays?
What's up, guys?
What's up?
Bro, you're supposed to say, hey, back. What's up, guys? Anybody seen that video? It's like, what's up, brother?
What's up, brother?
Do you guys know it? Okay, I'm going to do the first part. You do the second part. Ready? What's up, brother? Okay, Jared didn't know what I was talking about when I did that. Sorry. So, obviously, this is a little bit different. Jared just said that. But last week was an awesome week. If you were here at Culture, we're so glad that you were here. It was really different. Me and Jared were up here, and we were kind of doing the same thing that we're going to do tonight. But we talked all about mentorship, being a friend, and being a mentor. And tonight we're going to dive a little bit more into having a mentor. So, my name is Emma.
My name is Raina.
And my name is Izzy.
Awesome. Well, Raina and Izzy graciously, I almost said gracefully, graciously agreed to be up here and share a little bit with us. So we're basically going to have a small group that you're just going to listen to. So it's going to be super cool. So I encourage you to pay attention and to listen because you might learn some stuff or some questions that you might have may get answered. So have you ever had a teacher that you loved?
100%. I grew up in Camden, like most of you probably, and one teacher that really sticks out is my early childhood education teacher from high school. I had her for 2 years straight, and, I went to her for everything, and she always gave me the best advice.
Yeah, and I have a current teacher right now, and I had her last year. She's probably one of my favorite teachers because she's very down to earth, and she's, she likes to stay hype or whatever, and she makes class really fun and interesting, and she also she goes to church, so sometimes she'll play worship music in class, and it just kind of makes you feel a little bit more comfortable knowing a teacher that kind of understands and is there for you if you need something. Like, she'll always ask if you need something, so it's very comforting to know, and when you walk in, you just always feel like you're just walking into a house that's very comforting and stuff.
That's awesome. So when I was your age, actually, Izzy, I was in 8th grade, and I had a teacher. Her name was Miss Brown, and I remember I was so nervous to be in 8th grade. I, honestly didn't think I would make it that far. And so when I was in there, I was so nervous, and I had recently gotten diagnosed with ADHD, and I didn't know what that looked like for me. And she was somebody who really, encouraged me. She would pull me from other classes to help me make up work. And she just pushed me to do my best. And at the end of the day, that's what a mentor should be. So how important is trust when listening to or following a mentor? And do you think you should have a good relationship with them first?
When I met Jared, I got here about maybe 2 or 3 weeks before Jared became the youth pastor here. And when he first moved here, he kind of got a small group of us together, and he would we went out to lunch, or we would go to Walmart and mess around, He was really trying to build that relationship of trust with us and really just get to know us better before he came a leader position in our life, because he wanted to build that trust with us so we could actually listen to what he said and take it into account for what we did.
Right.
Yeah, and I have Raina as one of my closest mentors too, and I think it's so important to really trust somebody, and I obviously trust Raina because when I came here, I've been here for almost 2 years, and when I came here, she just kind of opened up, and she's been one of my best friends too, and I like that she's also closer to my age, so it's close, You're good. Sorry guys, I can't speak today. but it's just easier to listen to somebody who's closer to your age and really understands what's kind of like going on and has been there in our situation more recently. And, you know, I had a relationship with her, I mean, not that long, but, you know, we started out as friends, and I started really seeing her as a mentor more and more when I started getting closer to God, and she was really there when I needed her.
So when I think about trusting someone, I always think about a trust fall. You guys know what a trust fall is? So I feel like if you have a mentor or really anybody in your life, trust is so important. Do you think you can fall on them when you need somebody? Do you think that you can depend on them? Are they going to be there, or are you going to fall and be in the dirt? So I think trust is so important, not only in a mentorship, but really any relationship. So we're all meant to have people that pour into our lives. So what does it mean to pour into someone, or for someone to pour into you?
Well, for instance, Emma's my biggest mentor, if y'all didn't catch that already.
I have a big head now.
But Emma always, gives me the best advice, in my opinion. I might be biased, but I could come to her with anything, and she's going to pour all of her experiences into me because she wants me to be a better version of myself, and that's always what she's going to want for me. So she's always going to pour that love and that knowledge into me that I need to grow as a person.
Yeah, and one of my biggest mentors in life is my great aunt, Trish, and she believes in God, and recently she's gotten closer with him, but she's somebody who doesn't go to church a lot, and I know we all do have somebody in our lives that don't go to church as much, but you always still learn something from them, and she's always been my number one biggest fan, besides my mom, and she's always been right there when I need her, and recently she's been going through a lot lately, but she's taught me how to be strong, but still how to be emotional when you need to be, and how you don't have to be super, super vulnerable, but also when you're in need of something, turn to Jesus always. She really taught me how to, be strong when I need it, but if I really need something that I just feel like I can't go and talk to anybody about, always pray about it, because, it may not get fixed right away, but when the time is right, God will always provide.
So a mentor should feed us with their experiences. Mm-hmm. Like with Raina, I know that we're super close, and my high school girls, shout out to you, I love you. Sometimes when we talk about stuff, though, there are things that you bring up and questions that you have, and I wish that I could, take my brain out of my head and put it on a projector and show you all the things that I've experienced or things that I know, because I want you to learn from my mistakes, and I want you to be better than me. And I've had people in my past do the same thing for me. So Izzy, go ahead and read us that Proverbs verse that you have.
So Proverbs chapter 1, verses 1 through 5 says, "These are the wise sayings of Solomon, David's son, Israel's king, written down so we'll know how to live well and right, to understand what life means and where it's going, a manual for living, for learning what's right and just and fair, to teach the inexperienced the ropes and give your young people a grasp on reality. There's something here also for seasoned men and women, still a thing or two for the experienced to learn."
So I really like what that verse kind of explains the whole thing, but I want you to read a different version that kind of encapsulates everything. So go ahead and read the other one that you have.
Okay, so Proverbs chapter 1, verse 5 says, "Let the wise hear and increase in learning, and the one who understands obtain guidance."
So basically, wise people look to others for guidance. So Jared and I, our whole lives pretty much separately, have been told that we are old souls. And really, I feel like that means that we've always trusted in people who were older than us and learned from their experiences. So that verse really does tell us wise people do look for others' guidance. But Hebrews chapter 13, verse 17 says, "Be responsive to your pastoral leaders. Listen to their counsel. They are alert to the condition of your lives and the work under strict supervision of God. Contribute to the joy of their leadership, not its drudgery. Why would you want to make things harder for them? So, Scripture tells us clearly to listen to the words of leaders in our life. Now, if you're like me and you've had a mentor who is older than you, that can definitely be difficult sometimes, right? I mean, sometimes your mentors are super old and sometimes they're super young, and you can see things so different. I know me and Raina, I mean, even just recently, stuff that we talk about, it's like we have a hard time seeing how the other person sees it, and sometimes we can clash. So, why do you think that could be difficult sometimes?
Well, just like you were saying, when we like clash, like sometimes if you give me advice on something, I'm going to look at myself and I'm going to be like, well, I think I'm right. You know, this is how I should handle a situation. You know, this person made me mad and this is how I'm going to handle it. But in reality, you've already lived more life than I have. So you've been in situations just like that I have, and, you know, you're going to know what the right path to take is. And sometimes I have to remind myself to take a step back and really be like, okay, so should I look at how my mentor, you know, would go about the situation, or should I just go based off my dome and, you know, make the wrong decision?
Yeah.
Yeah, and my mom, sometimes I'll go to her for things, and I'll be expecting one answer, and I'm sure some of y'all have done this too, when you go to your parents and you're expecting one answer, and they come with a completely different one that you never expected them to say. And I know sometimes, like my mom, sorry mom, but she was born in the 80s, so she's pretty old, okay?
She just called you out.
I'm sorry, that's okay.
That was
Anyways, but she's very experienced in life, okay? And certain things, you know, social media, you know, sometimes we think that we should turn to social media because there's people on there that are close to our age, and we think that we should listen to them. Like, there's a girl on there that I look to for a lot of things, and she is closer to my age. But, you know, when I look to my mom, there's certain things that I want her to say, but when she says it, I'm like, okay, well, dang, I'm wrong. Like, why did I think that? That's so much better. And when I know it might be hard because my mom is older than me, and it is hard because, you know, she's from a different generation, so sometimes I think that she may not understand where I'm coming from. But what sometimes I don't realize is that she's lived through this stuff before, and that I should trust in her because she knows what the right thing is to do. She's experienced this stuff probably more than once or twice, you know what I mean? And so I think that, you know, even if you can't always turn to your parents, if there's a mentor that you have and she is older or he is older, like older than me and Raina's age gap, or older than Emma and Raina's age gap, like, they're going to have something to say to you that you're not going to think that they're going to say, but it is important, and you should still listen to it.
I love that. So there's always going to be people who want to give us wisdom and share things with us because they want us to be better than they were. So with that, I want to ask you, what kind of people should we look for as a mentor? This is such a tough question, you know. Who is qualified or who isn't, you know? How do I navigate that? What do you guys think?
Well, I think back to one of the first questions, that trust relationship that you have, that like foundation relationship is always a good start to figure out if somebody would be a good mentor or not, because you can't just walk up to somebody randomly on the street and be like, hey, be my mentor. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, you have to know them at least a little bit. I mean, me and Emma only knew each other for a few months before she really started like mentoring me. But you know, you can't just walk up to a random person and be like, hey, be my mentor. I don't know who you are. I don't know what kind of life decisions you make, but be my mentor. Show me how to live. Right. You can't do that.
So I think at the end of the day, your mentor needs to be a Bible-based leader. Just like any relationship that we have, it's so important that your values and your beliefs are the same. Because if you have somebody who's like way off here in the left field, maybe they're a great person, but you may need some wise counsel, and they may give you a crazy, insane answer that you would have never thought of that would shock you. But if you have somebody that has the same beliefs, the same what you feel in your heart, then you're going to get a good answer and a Bible-based answer, and that is so important. So Hebrews, the scripture that we read, told us that we should make our leaders happy to lead us, not sad or miserable. have you ever not been a joy to lead?
Actually, 100%. I'm pretty sure I make Emma angry at least once a week.
You do?
So actually, this past Sunday, y'all, if y'all were at church on Sunday, you saw that Allison Zink was up on stage with Emma. Well, I was supposed to be up on stage with Emma, but, I didn't wake up in time. I live almost an hour away, so I ended up not showing up. So my place got taken, and Emma is holding a grudge currently.
Yes, I am.
But it's all out of love, Emma and me just have that type of relationship where she knows what I need to be doing and I know what she expects from me. And when I don't exceed those expectations, then there's, a little bit of controversy.
But I think that's a great point to make because, your mentor can get mad at you or you can get upset with them. But my upset with you was because I have expectations for you. And I know that if you try and you do the things that I know you can do, you're going to be way better than me. And that's my goal for you. And also, Raina is making me sound way better than I am. So don't think that I'm a perfect angel, because I'm definitely not. You can ask Jared. But your mentor wants what's best for you. So I want to ask, Izzy, I want to ask you this. Do you think that you shouldn't be too close to a leader, or is there a balance? Like, do you think that there is balance in a relationship, or you should be too close, or you don't need to be too close?
Honestly, I'm sorry, I kind of
It's
gotta
okay.
get my brain right. I think it's important to be close with your mentor, you know what I mean? And I feel like if you're not close enough, sometimes it can kind of be hard because you feel like maybe you can't ask this kind of question because you don't feel 100% comfortable and knowing that they're not going to judge you for it. You know what I mean? And there's certain people that I may not look towards as a mentor yet, even though I've known them for a long time. There's always going to be people that you've known either forever or like how me and Raina are, known her for almost 2 years. That's not that long. But I still look at her as a mentor because I trust her and I'm very close with her. I kind of look at her as my big sister, and she's somebody that I know I can always go to and I can talk with. So yes, I do think it's very important. You need to be close with somebody to look at them as a mentor. But even the closest people you're with,
Right.
you don't always have to look at them as that kind of person because deep down there is certain things that you probably just can't tell them.
Right. I want to skip down. So you guys, we posted a poll on Instagram, and we asked, was there any questions that you may have about mentorship? We realized it's just a broad topic, and, there are things that we could say and could not say. So we're going to try and answer a couple of your questions. So the first question says, can mentors be in our life for a season? A mentor of mine moved away, and I really miss his advice. This is so valid. Raina, what do you think about this?
Well, throughout my entire life and different seasons that I've had many different mentors Miss Amy Barker. When I was in 8th grade, my parents got divorced. She's back there, I see her. When my parents got divorced, she worked at my middle school, and, I'd be up in the office every day ranting to her. I'd be like, girl, listen to what happened. Listen to this. Listen to this. She was one of my biggest mentors at the time, and, again, she still is, but in different seasons of your life, you are going to have different mentors that you looked up to because different people have gone through the same things that you have. There's some people in this room that their parents have been divorced, so I could, mentor them through that, or, other seasons or other trials that you have to go through in life.
Right. So, Izzy, this is another question. I want to ask it to you. Another student said, how should we know if someone is a good mentor or if they're not the right person?
So,
It's okay.
I think a good way to tell if somebody can be a good mentor is if they're not going to judge you on things that you have done, or if they're feeding good, positive thoughts, and they're not going to try to change what kind of person you are. And I think there's a lot of people in this world that think, oh, well, I could change this person because there's this and this that they aren't doing right, but I still want them to be in my life, so I'm going to try and change them. You can't change somebody unless they're willing to be changed. You know what I mean? And so
I think it's one of those things like, you know, if you know, you know. Like,
Yeah.
if that person is like seeking you out, and like maybe you felt this with Raina. Maybe Raina found you out of nowhere. Maybe you didn't know her very well, and then out of nowhere she started to pursue you. Like, hey, Izzy, you're doing a great job. Izzy, I really believe in you. Izzy, do you need anything? Do you ever want to talk? I mean, you will know when somebody is believing in you and supporting you. And even if you feel like right now you don't have a mentor, I encourage you to look for somebody who is Bible-based, somebody who's going to share the same beliefs with you, and somebody who's going to uplift you and support you. All right, well, this was a great discussion. Raina